Sometimes we can sit down and do our vichara. We can, sort of ponder upon some of these ideas that come across when we are studying scriptures or when we are reading, philosophical theses. And one such thought that just came to my mind, so I thought, let's record, I can share publicly my muses and I can also get some feedback, especially from those who are belonging to this particular organization, their thoughts as well. This word Krishna consciousness. Now, many of you all may have come across this word through the organization ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Now, this video is in no way a means to discuss the organization or their work or whatever seva they do for society or their philosophy. Merely, I just want to take some time to reflect on the word Krishna consciousness. Now, when I hear this word Krishna consciousness, as a person who is in the philosophical field, immediately thought comes, how to understand these two words? First of all, should I understand the word Krishna consciousness as a compound word, so that it is joined together? Krishna consciousness is one word. Or should I understand it as two words, wherein one is a noun and the other is an adjective? Should I understand this word Krishna consciousness as a compound, or should I understand it as a noun associated with an adjective? So in this case, consciousness would be the noun and Krishna would be the adjective. So then that got me thinking further that let's just go with the latter first. If consciousness is the noun and Krishna is the adjective, now when do we use an adjective? A noun gets associated with an adjective in order to differentiate that particular species with that particular unique element from other elements of that particular same species. For example, let's say the species that I'm speaking about is man. Species, the word in Sanskrit is called as jati. So let's say I am speaking about the jati of man. Is there variety in that jati or that species known as man? Of course. There is tall man, short man, fat man, thin man, etc. So these adjectives are associated with that particular species in order to differentiate within the variety present in that species. Now go back to what we are discussing, Krishna consciousness. Is consciousness having jati, a species, and within that species called as consciousness, is there variety of consciousness because of which a particular adjective would find meaning? In other words, are there different types of consciousness for which you can apply an adjective like Krishna consciousness, Rama consciousness, Ravana consciousness, Modi consciousness, Rahul Gandhi consciousness? Can I apply adjective to that noun? Of course, the Upanishads, they make it very clear that this consciousness does not have variety, does not have plurality. The Upanishads declare that this consciousness is one alone without a second. Ekam eva advitiyam. Non-dual, one alone is this consciousness. So now think, if there is only one consciousness and there is no variety for consciousness, then can an adjective be used in association with the word consciousness? If all men had the same exact features and dimensions, then any physical adjective for that man would be futile in its meaning, in its purpose, in its utility. Similarly, if consciousness is one alone, without any differentiating factors or adjectives or unique attributes, then an adjective seems to be futile. So up to this, one can say that we can disregard the idea that Krishna consciousness means that Krishna is an adjective for the word consciousness. So then how can we understand the word Krishna consciousness? So that was the first option. If we look at Krishna consciousness as a samasa or as a compound word, let me give you an example of a compound word. Basketball. Now when you see these words, basket and ball, see, these can be seen as two individual words. But we all know when I say basketball, we are talking about a compound word, basketball, where basketball is referring to the use of a ball being placed in a basket, that particular game. So we do not say basketball means basket and ball. We see it as one word, which has a particular meaning. In the case of Krishna consciousness, if we see it as a compound word, then maybe we can see that meaning to be Krishna is consciousness. That consciousness which is Krishna is called Krishna consciousness. I hope I didn't lose you there. In Sanskrit, we would say like this: Krishna eva chaitanyam, Krishna chaitanyam. Krishna alone is consciousness, therefore Krishna consciousness. Now just to sort of, streamline what we discussed in this video. Again, this is not to lecture to anyone. This is just me sharing my muses. Of course, if you want to share your thoughts also, you can leave your vichara in the comments. The idea is, when we think about words like Krishna consciousness, sometimes the idea may come about that, consciousness is there, and Krishna consciousness can be seen as an adjective-noun relationship between those two words. But no adjective can be used for consciousness. In fact, how do our scriptures even define or describe consciousness? Well, actually, this is a peculiar case, because the nature of consciousness is such that the moment you try to objectify anything, you have already utilized consciousness. Simply put, for anything to be known, to you, to me, to anyone, first and foremost, the presence of consciousness had to be utilized. So if I want to objectify consciousness in order to define it, I will have to use consciousness. Now, in defining something, if you use the very word or the very term in order to define it, for example, if I say, what is a computer virus? And you would answer, a computer virus is a computer virus. Can you use the same term which you are defining in the definition of that term? What is the sun? The sun is the sun. Is that a proper definition? Similarly, if we go to define consciousness and objectify it, make it an object of knowledge, the problem comes that we are going to have to utilize consciousness in order to define it. So how does the Upanishads and the great acharyas, the great teachers and great masters, how have they pointed out consciousness? Well, they share very beautifully that since consciousness cannot be objectified and therefore defined, they have found another way using lakshana, or an indicator, to point out consciousness. So this is something in our Shastras, a technique that is used, that where something cannot be directly defined, you use a lakshana or an indicator. So what is the indicator or the lakshana for consciousness? So Shastras and Acharyas beautifully share that because of which everything is known. So wherever knowledge is taking place, there is consciousness present. That because of which knowledge takes place. that because of which everything is known. That is the indicator of consciousness. So for that one consciousness, that one Chaitanya, whether you say Krishna Chaitanya or Rama Chaitanya or Shiva Chaitanya, that one consciousness alone is making us listen to this conversation, is allowing us to speak, allowing us to listen, allowing us to think, allowing us to experience the entire world around us. Just wanted to share my thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, then you know what to do. Share in the comments your thoughts on the word Krishna Consciousness, what it means to you. Share with your fellow ISKCON devotees. Maybe we can get some new perspectives on the word Krishna Consciousness. Until next time, stay curious.